Let's discuss your foray at Torrey Pines for the U.S. Open.
No, that's not.
Well, just what was your impressions of the golf course? Let's do that if you don't mind.
Yeah. No, listen, we can talk about anything you want, but the golf course I think was set up incredibly well and fair, and I'm still a fan of the U.S. Open playing tough. I think certainly they've backed off the last few years, and I think they have had great championships, but. I think people do quite like to see the struggle, and they're playing difficult. But 6 under par is certainly not easy. And Jon Rahm, very worthy winner. And actually, to be honest, when his name crept up on the leaderboard the first couple of days, I picked him as my winner. I thought he was going to be tough to beat all week long, and it was definitely an epic finish. And he showed a lot of mettle there coming down the stretch and 2 amazing putts. So I think it was a great tournament. Hard not to feel sorry for Louis Oosthuizen again. There's so many second place finishes in the majors, and such a great player, and a player that I really enjoy playing with is Louis, because I feel like we play a very similar game of golf. So it's good to see that his style of golf is still holding up in majors and giving him the opportunity to win them, because we've obviously seen the guys that have been winning the U.S. Open have been very much that power type of game, with Bryson and Brooks, and Jon Rahm probably fits that model as well. But to see Louis up there having great chances to win is encouraging from someone like myself as well.
So, I mean, in terms of mettle, as you said, that Rahm showed it over the week as well as on Sunday. I mean, the month that he had, starting with what happened to him at the Memorial, and then, with a newborn, he hadn't seen his folks because of the pandemic, and they had now come to just see his newborn, and now he couldn't see his newborn and his folks, and then he needed 2 tests in a row in time for the U.S. Open. He found out just the week before he could participate in it. What did you and the rest of your colleagues think of what happened at the Memorial to Jon, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's just one of those most unfortunate possible events. It was the kind of scenario that we'd probably all been in somewhat waiting for, because we all knew that, with the procedures in place, that type of scenario was possible. And, we've been playing under these protocols for, over a year now, and there hasn't been that sort of tragic moment where the leader has gotten pulled out of the tournament, and it couldn't have been worse for Jon. I mean, 6-shot lead, playing incredible golf, Jack's tournament, but obviously with the fact he'd come into contact with someone who was positive, he was testing every day, and it was just the worst possible outcome for him. And then really obviously not being able to then prepare as he would have liked for the U.S. Open. I'm assuming self-isolating for the best part of 10 days, and really getting in late. So maybe that kind of freshened him up mentally. Obviously, his game was in a great place, and he probably didn't practice himself out of form. So, from in hindsight, that mental freshness that he might have had and physical freshness probably paid off for him down the stretch. But certainly a roller coaster of emotions for him. And like you said, with a newborn son, it's funny how I've always found that players, you swing pretty hard one way or the other after having kids. It can be a distraction and tough to get used to, or people have just a greater perspective and tend to play well. So, Jon, fortunately for him, is sort of in that camp. So, I'm very happy for him and his family, and hopefully they can all spend some great time together now.
Yeah, I would imagine it gets easier, golf, after having a child. I mean, getting a newborn to take a nap, Justin, is one of the toughest things in the world. It might make golf, certainly on the U.S. Open course, that much easier. I mean,
it's funny how you tend to play more tournaments.
I love that. That is funny. So, Justin Rose here on the Rich Eisen Show. When you mention how you don't mind the U.S. Open being a difficult setup, are there colleagues of yours who do mind it? That hey, this is too tough even for us. Lighten up a little bit. Use the lawnmower a little bit more. I mean, is that literally what's discussed amongst your colleagues?
I think so. I think the USGA and the players have had a tough relationship maybe the last decade or so, and there's been a couple of occasions where there's been a rogue pin placement that's made us look a little silly out there or whatever it may be. But the USGA, to give them credit, have done a great job implementing an awesome kind of player relations team, and they've really worked hard on sort of bridging gaps and building bridges, I suppose, with the players. And I think they're doing a fantastic job with their tournament. But I just think they're so concerned of putting a foot wrong now. I think that they're sort of once bitten, twice shy. So for me, they've taken their foot off the pedal just a little bit in terms of course setup, and and that's fine, because obviously you don't want the course setup to dictate or to influence the outcome of the tournament. You still want to sort of get the best player on the week, but Yeah, I would just encourage them just to sort of not swing too far the other way. I think that's the identity of the U.S. Open. All the majors have their own little unique personalities, and I don't think the USGA should get too far away from theirs.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.